I know, just an editorial comment, when trees are cut down on the side of the road, the trees belong to the landowner. They don't belong to us. We don't
Right.
make any decisions about them. They belong to the property owner. I know I've had a number of people have to empty their pickup trucks out along Ledge Hill Road as they were picking up wood that was mine. And I don't want to encourage that sort of activity.
I'm talking about logs that the
Doesn't
utilities
matter.
are responsible for.
Doesn't matter, it's all their wood. So
But at
maybe
point,
unsightly, but we don't have aesthetic zoning here in Townsboro. So, and I'm not about to encourage that either. So hopefully people all do the right thing. And you're done spending here on this front page of your budget, Mr. Road Agent? Here. I mean, I know there's lists that keep cropping up of things to do, but my concern still sits at what do we got left? So,
Yeah, I think we're in okay shape at this point. We have about 80,000 left in the budget.
yeah, 80,000.
And we have 13 weeks left. Obviously, some of the
Getting
money.
better.
Yeah, we're getting closer to the end. Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're gonna be okay. We are starting to spend the winter budget, getting the sand and salt
Right.
put away now. So we'll be in good shape for the first snowfall. But, yeah, no, I think we're okay. I think we're in decent shape.
All right. I'm done.
I don't have anything else.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Next, do we go on to budget reviews, or do we want to skip over and go through approval of minutes, signature, et cetera?
Excuse me.
What do you folks want to do?
There's not much in the signature file. I think there were only two things
Yep.
right there.
Yes.
Okay, get that out of the way.
This is a letter for Mrs. Beveridge with the corrections about permission to use 19 Mile Bay on January 27th from 12 to 3 p.m. It's been signed. This is the document from Dave Allwine about the landfill proposal that Clay talked about. Have you folks read it?
I have seen it, yeah. I will move approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
And it looks like it's for your signature.
Authorization for additional services. Two. Selectmen's update.
Well, we all went out to the budget review meeting at Attitash last week, which was informative. I don't know that we got all of our questions answered. I had to leave a little early to pick my grandkids up, but I thought it was really, the Portsmouth presentation was interesting in that they've structured ongoing budget concerns into their working budget. I'm not certain that we can do that, but it's certainly something we should discuss as far as creating funds for things, the unforeseen, to flatten out the health insurance costs, to flatten out, taxing costs.
Did they have any literature or?
They did, and I have mine with me. I can leave it here at the
Right,
office.
yeah, I'll review that.
The-
I know Portsmouth, he's since retired, but was quite the leader on, the state income tax, on the education issue, the Claremont decision. And they were always well-structured and well-written.
Well, they do a lot more reporting than we do.
Yes.
So-
Well, and Portsmouth's a city,
Yeah.
and cities operate under a whole different set of rules from towns, and so the whole dynamic, I think it's an excellent way to do things, but,
Well, and they have more resources.
Right.
To put things together. I guess some of the warrant article questions I found sort of intriguing. And I think we need to explore that further as we go towards the town meeting. Just, it seems to get a little loose in the structure of the warrant articles that are accepted. I think we could tighten that up and make it clear to everybody.
well, and one of the things that they have talked about in past workshops, and I don't remember specifically being touched on here, is that once we have the wording of articles set, to get with DRA and
Right.
ahead of time and ensure that it passes muster with them, that there aren't ambiguities or mistakes in the wording that will limit the applicability.
I know when I was here before, we did that as a regular course of business. I don't know if that's changed, but all the warrant articles got submitted.
Yes,
to
they
the
are,
DRA.
right, yep.
And an interesting lunch, I guess. So, other than that, it was fun. We're getting the budget pieces together. We're gonna review some this morning, I guess, but there's more. I checked in the office this morning. There'll be more of the larger budgets coming in next week. So,
Could I speak on the budget preparation?
sure.
We currently have 7 scheduled Board of Selectmen's meetings until the end of the year. That's for 13 weeks. Is this enough time to spend the appropriate amount of time for each of the 28 capital budget lines? This does not include warrant articles, for example, the library. And in fact, I'm just thinking, look at this meeting here, we're doing budgets, but it's gonna be several hours after we're doing the normal, weekly budget. Not interested in more meetings, and you guys, between CIP and budget, but I guess the question is, do we need to make it one day a week where we do 2 or 3 budgets and zero in on them? I was, again, thinking Friday, when we have to be in here to do checks anyway. We all have projects to do, but, I don't want you guys crammed either.
Historically, there's been very little public input at the budget hearings. It's just the usual suspects.
Mhm.
And
Hey.
I think the more, I've been one of those usual suspects. The more public input we get, I think the better off we are. So I would think that we continue or do some budget reviews during a regular course of business like we're gonna do today. Maybe one of the big budgets as opposed to 4 or 5 of them. But I think you're right, we need to set aside a day to approve the budget. I mean, we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna have to give the budget committee what we approve.
Does it make sense for us to come in a half hour early and it's a work session before our meeting? No, I'm trying to toss out things here so these committees aren't jammed up. And there's also, we need to turn around so these people can get the paperwork out in time.
Yeah, if
So-
you don't mind if I'll add to that,
Right.
that's okay. Typically what happens is, for instance, you folks would meet today and review those and make movement on them. Approve or deny them or change them. And I take your selectmen's recommendation to the budget committee. Diane puts it in the computer and shows your recommendation and so forth. And they actually, as you know, meet next Wednesday. So I would normally take those budgets to the budget committee next week, and you would have approved them or denied them or whatever.
And
you know,
that gives you
edited
enough
them
time
today.
to do what you gotta do.
Right.
I'm talking about the smallest of the budgets. And I guess that my concern would be that the larger budgets will require a little more discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not certain we want to preclude the budget committee from having access to those proposed budgets
Right.
just because we haven't approved the budget.
Right.
That just slows their process down.
Yes, it does.
So,
Seems in the past, we have had work sessions to deal with some of the budget review and ongoing work. And that's certainly the appropriate way, in my view, to deal with them. Come in on a Friday and,
or do we flip it around and say that Friday's a work session when we bring in department heads? I mean, we don't seem to get filming on Fridays, which doesn't bother me that much, but the newspaper's not here because the paper came out on Thursday. I mean, maybe we should switch it around in October.
That's a thought.
Just a thought.
Right. I'm thinking of the committees, I'm thinking of these people here, and I'm thinking of you guys too. And what's nice is, all of us have worked on these different committees over the years and understand that you don't want things crammed and forced and...
Well, how about I suggest that for next Monday's meeting, we're meeting again Monday, correct?
next Monday's a holiday.
Next Monday's a holiday.
Right.
So we have no meeting between now and the first budget hearing, or budget meeting, I'm sorry.
Correct.
Right.
So do we meet Friday for an hour? And pick two budgets to go over?
Yeah, I don't think we can avoid it, really.
Yeah.
I don't. But I think we need to limit ourselves to that.
Yes.
Not, some expansive visitation by all the departments. Or
Yes.
reviewing employees or anything.
As chairman, I ask that we stay focused on, I don't want to say what the agenda is, because everything is legal agenda, but, and hopefully have you guys out of here in an hour.
It's not so much the time commitment as is the focus,
Yes.
I think. I mean, if we can spend 2 hours focused or an hour and a half focused on the budget as opposed to the ancillary activities.
Are there two budgets that would be ready to go by Friday, in your opinion?
Well,
Please.
I can ask Diane, but these ones are already in your
Well, you got-
packets.
Yeah.
I need a-
And your Clay's budget is,
Right,
yeah,
library, yeah,
Uh,
that should be fine.
and,
Yeah, Clay's budget is in, the fire department's budget is not. Oh, yeah, did it get any Saturday?
Well, he's working on 3 different budgets, and they're all commingled, so.
I-
Why do we plan on doing Clay and library?
Okay,
And we'll give each of them a half hour.
all right.
Does that make sense to you?
It's fine for me. I did create the
So-
budget committee, oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, I did create the budget committee schedule to coincide with yours, I explained this, so what is like, for instance, we had today, so I had that you'd move on those today, and then the
Right.
budget committee would look at them next week.
Right.
And I did it for every, you know what I mean?
Right.
But we can adjust that, I mean, be ahead of the game, it's not bad, of course.
My concern again is, as I look at the math, you did an excellent job, but in 13 weeks, we have 6 meetings. Plus, we have the regular,
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm
regular
just saying,
town
but, yeah,
business
that's-
to do, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to be flexible, because
Yes,
I'm gonna be a little hard to deal with if we're voting on these individual budgets, and at the end of the day, the whole budget ends up being not what I think where it should be. Or that
Yes.
we need more discussion about it, so.
this is.
When we recommend the budget, for instance, I'm gonna pick one,
Yeah.
let's say legal expenses.
Yes,
We recommend that budget to the budget committee today.
yes,
That's the end of the discussion? I mean,
No.
obviously, the budget committee's gonna
no,
discuss it, but are we gonna include it in our discussion?
yes.
Okay, then I'm fine.
It can always be revisited and
Yes.
moved
Right.
on, yeah.
No, I'm sure we can do anything we'd like, I just wanna know what your preferences or historical memory is
Okay.
how this works.
Anything else under
Well,
Selectmen's
good.
update? Do you have a couple things?
We talked at our last meeting about applying for a grant for, toward the replacement of the six-wheel plow truck.
Mhm.
And the state anticipated that that was going to be available and that the filing period would be between October 1st and 15th. I haven't followed up with the gal this morning to see if in fact the federal grant came through for them. But if it did, do we want to proceed with putting in a grant request?
I say yes, but I'll defer to you people.
Right?
What would be, why would we not do that?
Why would we not?
Yeah.
Well, there's no reason I can think of that we wouldn't.
Then we probably should.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you're talking 33% of
Right.
That's right.
Purchase new.
Now, there's one wrinkle I'm going to examine Wednesday at my TAC meeting. I got the minutes of our TAC meeting where Elizabeth Strachan, Strachan, from New Hampshire.
And she's the state point person on that,
Yes.
right?
Yep, she reviewed the eligible projects, primarily focusing on replacing entire vehicles. There are some funding restrictions apply, such as the age of the vehicle. This may be waived after discussion. Major restrictions are the vehicle must be used for at least 3 years after replacement, and replacing the vehicle, quote, can't be in the local capital improvement program. Then it talks about it's gotta be cut in half and like that.
Before, I believe it's October of 2021.
I'm going to have Lakes Region follow up on this so
Okay.
that we're
I- I'm-
real.
and in discussion with her, that's what she told me,
Yep.
that it has to be in, you have to have plans to replace it. But
From
this
the
is,
day
this
you
is,
get it.
but this is an accelerated replacement,
Yes.
okay? To get an older,
Are you gonna be
dirtier
able to find
diesel
any
out.
vehicles in municipal inventory that aren't on a CIP list? I mean, logically, it hits the list the day you pick it up. You know, its replacement time might be 20 years out, but you still have, I mean, that's how it's supposed to operate.
Yes.
You know, everything has an
Right,
age.
so, but yeah, do follow up on that, but when I had the conversation with her,
And
she
please, full
specifically-
speed ahead,
Yeah.
you know, you've got your
Okay.
finger on the pulse there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, other news, our milfoil contractor was harvesting last week around the docks at 19 Mile Bay and in the basin. There are a couple of locations in Winter Harbor, and there's some investigative diving that DES has suggested that we do up west of Lane's End. And when I spoke with them late Friday, they were done with about all the work they were gonna be doing down in the Winter Harbor area. So we're getting close to being done for the season with milfoil harvesting.
Do we have a diver?
We have a contractor that, yeah, that does it. Yep. So that's the only other item that I have.
The police chief was here last week and mentioned that the drug take-back day was for Saturday, the 28th of October, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Tufton Borough Transfer Station. Karen, could you verify that with him? He was still waiting for some paperwork from the Attorney General. The other thing is, can you coordinate with both the police chief and Clay to make sure that's advertised so people know about it?
Yep, I did put it up on the website.
Right.
but, Yeah.
That includes the newspaper. Okay, let's go to a review of minutes. let's pick out Friday, September 22nd, 9 a.m. I have nothing.
They look fine to me as presented. Move. Second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. Monday, September 25th, Selectmen's meeting, 4 p.m. I have one thing. Please go to page 2. First paragraph, and I'm gonna go, I guess it's the last sentence. Chairman Wood asked Chief Shigori to review any enforcement issues for the Sodom Road Bridge, limiting the Sodom Road Bridge to 15 tons. Change the word repercussions to.
Thank you.
Oh, I have it. I'm all set.
Move approval as corrected.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is Selectmen's non-public meeting, September 25th at 5:25 p.m. I have nothing.
I'm all set.
Yep. I'll move approval as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Do you have another motion?
Yep, I would move that we unseal these minutes.
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Keep that. That's it for minutes.
Okay.
Next we'll go on to
Excuse me.
moving.
I apologize to interrupt. Christine Charles asked that I make a clarification to the September 22nd minutes. And I put a little copy in Bill's folder too. She just wanted to clarify something and comment it on the new minutes.
Okay,
I could say it if you'd
go
like.
ahead. Read it into the record.
Bear with me 1 second, please.
September 22nd?
Right. So this is just a clarification on her, what she said that day. The trustees have no plans at this time to increase the number of employees for an expanded library. There is not yet enough money to estimate the increase in utility expenses for an addition. For the previously planned new building, the trustees projected that operating expenses other than salaries would increase by less than 10%. So I just told her I would do that for her.
And will you just put it as a clarification in our minutes?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Moving along to correspondence, the green folder. The new pay structure with the 1.2 COLA has been approved. This is the new structure. I know you've looked at it and I figured it out. Thank you for your time.
So it's all set, it's been approved,
Yes.
okay.
This is for release, beards for bucks for kids. The police officers go razorless for a reason during October fundraiser to benefit child advocacy centers throughout New Hampshire. If you notice a new look on the familiar face in October, know it's in support of the Child Advocacy Center of Carroll County. It's the 3rd annual Beards for Bucks fundraiser to support, and it's supported by 49 police departments, each raising critical funds for their local Child Advocacy Center. These police officers are with us side by side, day in and day out, to help provide justice and healing for child victims of abuse, said Elizabeth Kelly, Executive Director of Child Advocacy Center of Carroll County. Beards for Bucks is a way for us to educate the public about the daily contributions officers make to help child victims of crime, and it's a fun way to help the center raise critical funds necessary to serve the children of Carroll County. For more information, please make contact or make a donation. Visit carrollcountycac.org. Thank you, Chief Andrew Shigori. On September 26th, the Conservation Commission submitted a 2018 budget. Diane has a copy of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dear Selectmen, here's the updated computer inventory and replacement schedule. The newly replaced items are marked in yellow. We've all seen that. There's a webinar coming up, repair and maintenance expenses and capital expenditures, learn the difference and why it matters. Nice job, Tufton Borough Times, Board of report from the Selectmen. Thank you, Chip.
That was a good move.
The other things are news links, wetland permits, classes that are coming up, real estate items. People can read them. There's a couple of new items in here for you to read. And let's go back to budget reviews. First one is legal. Any need to change that, gentlemen?
I just had a question, and shows we spent no money in CBA on legal this year, but I know there's been ongoing court activity. So where did that get charged? What is it?
Is that the Deeds decision?
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So,
okay.
just a question.
Yep.
And does conservation do the legal work on our permitting, or do we do that through our office? For instance, if we're gonna do a,
Easement or the permit for the wharf.
Right.
In the past, the permit on the docks have been under docks and bridges.
So all the legal gets pushed
Yes.
over there.
You know, engineering and, you know,
Well, I think we're stuck with what we have in this particular one.
Mhm.
So I'm going to accept that.
One second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So it was 3-0. At 02 October. Next item will be other government. 4199.
I'll move approval.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
And I will tell you that CIP expense, that there is none this year, that almost always comes in the fourth quarter. That's
It's been a
printing the
donation.
report, it's attending workshops and that sort of thing. So that's why we've seen past expense, but none yet this year.
So that's The other government budget is $850, 600 of which is capital improvements committee, and 250 is joint loss station committee.
Yeah.
Next is direct assistance, 4442. I'm thinking that we ought to save it here. This is like Area 51. We really can't talk about it openly. We're in a unique position to know that we've had some benefactors, 501Cs that have stepped up and
Right, we have a lot of local charitable
Needs.
organizations that have been helping out, and that's,
However,
I think there could be some savings in this budget. Primarily in the shelter line, which is $14,000, and I think could probably be taken down to $10,000, given the history of help that we've been getting. I'm not certain the fuel line can change, simply because we have no idea what the fuel costs are gonna be, although they're dropping currently. And the only other line that we've looked at is the food line, which seems to be primarily handled by local charities. But we still need to have something there because,
Yeah.
we are responsible. So my recommendation would be to,
the average for the last 5 years for shelter has been $14,000.
right,
And that's what was budgeted this year.
if you push it all the way back to 12 and 13, absolutely.
Right.
And I'm not certain.
Well, and again, direct assistance is one of those things that it doesn't matter what we budget. Ultimately, what we spend is what is needed.
Right,
Um, And, I mean, if we under budget, then
We find
the
somewhere
money
else.
has to come from someplace else.
right.
But,
I mean, it's
and that's not to suggest that it should stay where it was, and there ought to be just a lot of money there just in case. But it is,
I mean, we're gonna be pushing over $20,000, I'm gonna guess, into the capital, or into the undesignated fund balance, which is not a bad idea, although I think we really have to talk about that number
Yes.
as well.
yeah,
So if you wanna leave it at 30, I'm fine.
you're,
I mean, I was
you're
gonna-
closer to what's going on
I
than
was
I
gonna
am.
push it down to 25,
Yeah,
figuring that we could take, I was taking $4,000 off the shelter, but if we take $2,500 off of the shelter,